just want to talk.
Hey guys, this is Deby. My co host Maryam couldn't be part of this episode because she got sick. So she sent me a message for me to put as an intro before the episode starts.
Hey, I can finally film this. So much better right now. And thank you so much for joining our podcast. I'm so sorry for not being able to make it. I was very, very, very sick. It's been a whole week, and today is the only day I feel like myself again. Like it's the first day I feel like myself again, even though I still look pale. Thank you so much for joining our podcast again. I wish I was there. Maybe next time, who knows? And thank you, Jess, for filling in. I'm sorry again that it was a very short notice, and thank you, Debbie, for taking over. And I hope it was a nice episode.
Welcome to the second season of We Just Want to Talk. I'm Deby,
I'm Maryam, and this is everything we want to talk about.
including Tegan and Sarah.
Hey,
Hi,
can you hear us well?
I can.
Hi.
Okay,
Hi.
great. Just so you know, Maryam couldn't come. She's my co-host and she is sick today, but
Oh,
she
no.
said she loves you very much and she's so sad she couldn't come because her voice is gone. But I did invite Jess, who is like a recurrent guest into the podcast. She's like always with us hanging out. Okay, I'm gonna start with Miriam's intro. She wrote it, so I'm just gonna read it. Um, Welcome back to We Just Want to Talk. Today we do have a super guest. Our guest today needs no introduction, but we're giving her one anyways. VIVEK Shhraya, a writer, musician, performer, and educator. What can she not do? Today we have her.
Can't draw.
You can draw,
No, can't draw.
but have you tried?
I have tried, and my stick drawings are terrible.
Oh gosh, same. Um, so today we have her here not only to get to know her, but also discuss her latest musical project, her most recent album, New Models. So that's the topic of the podcast today. And just for if we have any new listeners, like the podcast started as a podcast about my favorite band and Miriam's favorite band, Tegan and Sarah. And whenever we have a new guest, we ask them to like give us a little bit about their like history as like their connection to Tegan and Sarah. So Vivek, if you want to like share with us how did Tegan and Sarah come to your life and how were you connected to them?
Oh my gosh. So, I mean, we're both from Alberta. We're both from like they were born in 80 and I was born in 81, queer. And yet I didn't actually see them when they played in Edmonton. I think because I didn't really understand that they were musicians. Like my lesbian best friend in Edmonton was always like, let's go see Tegan and Sarah. And I just thought she meant let's go to a gay party. And so I don't know. And I was such a shy gay in Edmonton. Um, but then I moved to Toronto and another friend, Tegan and Sarah just put out If It Was You. And one of my friends was obsessed with them and was like, you need to listen to this album. And I loved it. I was like just getting into PJ Harvey around that time too. And I just loved like the heavy guitars. And they had a show in Toronto. And I just moved earlier that year. And I was in Edmonton. They didn't really have like big concerts or whatever. And so but now that I lived in Toronto, I could see some of my favorite artists. So like I went and saw the White Stripes and I saw like Macy Gray,
Cool.
and I was so desperate as a musician for just to have some agency over my career because I had this like wild manager who was like very controlling. And so one of the ways I felt I could have agency was like if I went to these concerts and like threw a CD on stage.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, and I would write my email address and their phone number on the back and on my not their phone number, my phone number on the back. And then I would like hope that they would call me. And of course, this never happened. But then I had like one CD left, I think, at the end of the year. And Tegan and Sarah were playing Lee's Palace, and it was their last show for the If It Was You album cycle. And I was like, should I take my CD? Should I not? I don't know. And then I brought my CD, and my lesbian friends were so embarrassed. They were like, please don't do this. Like, don't do that thing you do. And
I
I
saw
was,
that on your like on your TV show.
yeah.
Yeah.
So this is all repeat for you. I don't know.
I mean,
Well,
the listeners might not know, so like,
right. So,
and it's part of,
anyways,
yeah.
to my friend's total embarrassment, at some point I throw my CD on stage Tegan has to duck because it like almost hits her in the head. And I
Oh
was like,
no.
well, there's no way that this connection's happening. But then as she left, she actually picked up the CD.
Cool.
And I was like, oh, okay. And then a month later, she sent me such a beautiful message about how, they're on tour all the time. They get a lot of music, but she actually really loved my album. And if they could do anything to support me, they would. The next day, they posted about me on their website. And then the year later, they took me on tour with them when they were playing in Florida. And so I opened for them, which was amazing. And then since then, we've been buddies. So, like, I've known them. This year is going to be, that tour was 2005. So this is like our 20-year anniversary this fall.
That's awesome. But so you did until
Wow.
you moved to Toronto, you didn't know they were musicians. Like you've kind of figured it out.
I didn't really like, I
Like
didn't
in
really,
Edmonton, it was like kind of like a party or
yeah, like, and I think again, in the small town, like when Tegan and Sarah played, it was kind of like a lesbian event. Like that's
yeah.
lesbians would get together because there was no lesbian bar. But I think because of the way like she talked about it, it made it seem like it was a lesbian party. And so I was like, and I love lesbian parties, but I was like not even going to the gay bar. Like I was so shy
Hmm.
at the time. So and I didn't really know their music either. Like I think she'd played me the business of art, and for whatever reason like I didn't connect to it. But then if it was you, like from the moment I heard like Time Running, I was like, whoa, like who
Yeah.
are like who is this band? I
Yeah.
loved it right away. um so yeah, like I really didn't meet, like I didn't meet them in Edmonton. It's in a weird way like I met them in Toronto. So yeah.
Right. Okay,
And then since
cool.
then we've like toured multiple times together, like we've done
Hmm.
media
Yeah, the
together.
rest is history, right?
Yeah, we've done collabs together. Yeah, I love
Yeah.
them, and they're such good. Have you met them?
Yes.
Great. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, like they're such great humans. I feel like there's some people you meet that are celebrities and you're like, oh man, I wish I never met those people.
Hmm.
Like they're the real deal. Like they're really good human beings. And I feel like I wouldn't be who I am without them. Like I'm just so grateful to them. I really
That's
see
awesome.
like my queer sibling mentors.
Hmm.
Aw.
Nice. Okay, now to the album, which is the topic of our podcast. How do you feel about like how has it been received so far? How do you feel about like people are talking about it? Like
Yeah, I
it
mean,
seems like you put it out, right? Like how do you feel about it?
I feel good about it. It's a tough time to make music because like music journalism in Canada has died, like especially with the death
Mhm.
of alt weeklies. Like we don't have Now Toronto, we don't have like those kinds of like alt magazines in cities, and that's where so many like for an indie artist, that's where like reviews and articles would happen, and many cities don't have those anymore. I will say what's really special about this album is I've been doing it a little. I mean, you've come to two of the shows, so you know, but
Mm-hmm.
I I've been doing the show differently for this album where I play the album from beginning to end and there's no banter and
Mm-hmm.
no
Mhm.
dancing. Like it's just like very much about like it's less
Feeling
about,
it. I feel like
yeah,
it's like about feeling the album. You're listening
exactly.
to it, of course, but I feel like it's the whole room is like it's like an
Yeah.
experience,
Yeah,
right?
it's an experience,
Yeah.
exactly. It's less about me performing for you and more about like wanting to create like a collective experience.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm very clear about this at the beginning, like I explained that. And I think what's been so lovely is like at every show I've done, almost every show I've done now, there's always been a long line of people who have wanted to tell me how they experienced the show, like what
That's
they
Mhm.
great.
thought about, what they were feeling. And that's never happened to me before. Like in
Okay.
20 something years of playing,
Wow.
I've never had that sort of like instant like, people will be like, oh, I liked your show or whatever. And that's kind of a good show. But with this, I find people are so communicative about like how they are experiencing the music. And
Mhm.
I'm I also find especially Toronto's like a good measure because I find in Toronto people don't like to buy merch. They don't want to pay cover, they don't want to pay merch, they don't want to do anything. And in the city, I'm finding that like people are actually like buying the vinyl too. So
Mm-hmm.
there are some slight shifts that are really exciting. Again, it would be nice to see like some kind of like written coverage of the project, but I will be touring in January, so who
Oh
knows?
yeah.
It's just I try to remind myself it's just the beginning. It's just the
Yeah.
beginning.
Mhm.
Like it just came out in October.
Just
So
came out in October,
like
so there's time.
there's a long way to go. Yeah. So why is it called New Models?
I really, it's such a good question. I'm such a title first person, so
Mhm.
Mm,
like my book, I'm Afraid of Men, like I knew that was the title going into the project. Baby You're Projecting, like I'm drawn to these sort of titles, and the
yeah.
titles are kind of anchors.
Can I say that like Portuguese is my first language. And when I read the title, for some reason, like the first thing that came to my mind was like fashion models. So like
Oh, cool.
people.
Mm.
Great. That's
So like
great.
I wanted to know like why did you give it this name? Because I knew it wasn't about like people, but like you can interpret it differently.
Well, and I think that's what it is like I was really trying to find a title. I really struggled to find a title that worked for this album. I didn't have that same experience that I've had before where I knew the title going in. And
Mm.
actually, believe it or not, this was the first time I tried even ChatGPT, which I'm like
Oh.
very anti like AI,
Yeah. We
Mm.
had
but
an episode about AI
Ugh.
actually.
I'm very anti AI, but
I
like
know.
I also feel like I can't be critical of something without engaging with it. So I'm like,
That's
I was
true.
so desperate for the album title that I was like,
Mhm.
I went into ChatGPT and it was wild because I was like, I need something that explains that's like about embracing the unknown, but it's also hopeful. And all the titles sounded like Twilight titles. They were like, beloved sunrise of the next day, like just like, and then I
Oh,
like these, and I would say, I'd even
sounds
say,
like AI.
yeah, and
Yeah.
I would be like, I'm sorry, I need something that feels a little bit less like general and more specific. And they're like, okay, I hear you when you say you want something more specific. How about the sun setting on the, like, it was just like, it was so weird. They all sounded like weird romance slash YA
Maybe
novels.
like yeah, book titles or like novels.
Yeah, and I was like, oh my God, this is how book titles are coming. Anyway, so I struggled. And then I had this idea of new idol, actually. So an
Mm,
idol is like, like a something that's worshipped. So like,
yeah.
because I think part of what I've been thinking about this time and what this album is, grappling with in some ways is like how to move forward and like what are the new things to look up to, right? Like with fascism and with
So maybe
Trump.
it is kind of like a
Mm.
supermodel fashion model.
And so maybe it is. But and then that
I
one
mean, you.
today because idol was felt too religious, and so then
Mm.
I
Oh.
leaned on models, and model has many meanings, right? It's like
Hmm,
Mhm.
exactly.
patterns, infrastructures, ways of doing things. It can mean like a hero. It can be a supermodel, and I was like, oh, I love how open it is, like because to me that's exactly what this time is about, and this album is about is like looking for new ways of doing things, a new way to
Hmm.
make music, a new way to write songs, a new way to perform live. All those things to me felt like encapsulated by new model.
Yeah. So like I love the like just all the visuals and stuff. I wanted to know what's your process because like when you perform, it's like a visual thing. Like you have like a super cool outfit, like the lighting and all of that stuff. So I want to know like what's your process to put up all of that together? Because it's not only music, right? You have the fashion and you have the visual. So like, where does it come from? And like,
Well, with there are things about music I like, and there's things about music I struggle with. And to be honest, I will say that's one aspect of music sometimes I struggle with. When you write a book, you don't have to have visuals, you don't have to have a single. Like, there's
mhm,
so many things
Mm.
musicians have to do just to get people to listen to the album. Whereas with a book, you write a book, and then, people, there's a better chance where they buy it, like you don't have to release a page of the book somewhere or like whatever. And so, one of the ways that I've dealt with this frustration, sometimes I embrace it. So, like with my last album, Baby You're Projecting, I think you were at the launch. Like,
mhm.
I sort of conceptualized this whole idea of like a relationship gone wrong and sort of got into the visuals and stuff. And like sometimes they can get really into it. And just like because I am a visual person, but I think with this album, I really struggled because it's not. I really wanted to not impose my own meaning. I think with art right now, there's so much that the artist tells you this is what this is about, this is what this album is about,
Mhm.
and I really wanted the album to be open. And so I did something different to this time where like I actually just like I was thinking of like different people who could do cool things, and I reached out to Julia Hendrickson, who's this
Yeah, I was
amazing.
gonna ask, like, is it collaboration? Like, do you reach out to people? Like, how does
I
that come
reached out to
about?
a bunch of people whose
Hmm.
art I liked and who I thought were doing something slightly different. Like, this isn't a music video project, right? And I didn't even know if I wanted to be in the visuals. And
Mm.
Julia's stuff is very experimental, kind of like the album. And again, usually with visuals, I'm like, these are the singles. We need to do videos for this song, this song, this song. With this album, it's like, what is the single? There is no single. So I
Hmm.
actually just said to her, like, and again, I took an artistic risk where I'm like, I'd love to know what songs stand out to you visually. and like what concepts you come up with. And the three songs that she picked were I Don't Know Where I'm Going, Moral Panic, and Am I Doing Enough? And she came up with these beautiful concepts for them. We
Mm-hmm.
talked about me not being in them to make the music less about me and more open-ended. So again, I love to work collaboratively, but sometimes I'm more in it. Like I'm more of a creative director, and with this project, I really wanted to hand over a lot of the creative direction to other people. Even with the photography, he's a really
Mm-hmm.
beautiful, talented photographer in LA. And he's a queer photographer. And I just like I wanted to see what he came up with as opposed to me being like, it needs to have this backdrop, it needs to be me doing this, and just sort of like seeing what other artists create as opposed to me imposing, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Um, for this album particularly, there aren't a lot of lyrics. Was that intentional? Or was the song just came that way to you? And like, can you tell us about the process of writing the
Yeah,
music?
this one's very different for me in that respect. So, but I think a big part of it came from the state of the world and just like the way English has been used against marginalized people, like the way
Mm-hmm.
people have made fun of pronouns or the word woke now like bad or diversity is like an evil word. And I found myself really struggling when I was started writing songs and English just felt so limiting. And so I felt like I needed to tap into a different skill set to work on these songs. And that's when I started using that like in Indian classical singing, that ah sound is called akar,
Mm-hmm.
where you just hold the vowel ah and you like sing it. And there was something about just the open-endedness of that, not putting words, that just felt so freeing and cathartic. And so
Makes sense.
it was definitely a change for me. But at the same
Yeah.
time, I'm a public artist. I don't want to make something that's unlistenable. So there were moments where English felt like worth bringing in just as a way
Mm-hmm.
to like give the out
But it
like
made sense, right? Like it made sense for you to have
yeah,
that.
just to
Like it
bring some
wasn't just
blue.
words or
Exactly, exactly.
that's
So
nice.
I didn't know that that's what I was making. This project again just sort of it took 4 years to figure out what
Yeah.
the project was.
Yeah. And the purpose, so when you started like for all of your artistic endeavors, like whenever you start a process, do you have a purpose for it or is it just something that you start doing and then you're like, okay, I need to go all the way now. But is it like did you have like I'm making this because reason, like for all of your
Not always. For some
mm-hmm.
projects, like with I'm Afraid of Men, like my book, I was definitely like, I want to write a book on masculinity that is coming from a trans voice. I want to write because it was during Me Too, and it felt like Me Too, so much of the attention was about like white women addressing white men. And I was like, but the
Yeah.
problem of masculinity or patriarchy is so much bigger than that. And so I had a very specific intention of what that was, or even Baby You're Projecting, that album, I knew it was a breakup album. Like that's what I was exploring was
Yeah.
breakups. With this project, I honestly was just in such a state of shock and grief at the state of the world in the past 4 years that it was just more about catharsis. Like I was just trying to
Would you say that maybe your previous projects were like to the world and this one was for you? Or maybe other projects were like that too, but like, do you feel that way? Because I feel this way. I feel it's more internal. I don't know.
huh. I mean, it's interesting because in some ways, yes, but in some ways, no. Like again, it's like how the live show I don't talk, or in the videos I'm
Yeah,
not
that's true.
like it's really meant to be like almost like holding a mirror to you to be like, how do you experience the world? How are you feeling about where we are in 2025? Um, so I mean, on some level, I feel like all art is for me as an artist. There is something very narcissistic about it. But with this one, I really see it as an invitation and as an experience in a way that the other ones, like Baby You're Projecting, like those songs are so specific to my experience.
Okay.
Whereas in New Models, there's a reason why there's not a lot of English is because I don't want it to be just about me. I really want this to be like, again, like almost like holding a mirror and being like, what do you see in this?
Mm-hmm. And so how is this project connected to your other projects? Or every time you have something, is it like its own thing? Are they connected at all? I asked this also because I watched Sort of and I love
Oh,
that
nice.
show. Like I
Nice.
binged it. I really liked it and your music is in it and I found it similar to New Models. So was it like a natural Like, were they written at the same time? Like,
They, I mean, ish, like you're right in that, like sort of when I worked on music from sort of the direction that I got was that he wanted from the music supervisors, he
mhm,
wanted me to explore Akar and like that sort of Indian style of singing, which I have deliberately tried not to do in my art because I was worried about being pigeonholed as Eastern music. I find
right.
the music industry so small-minded and
I know, yeah.
they've never known
Mm.
how to classify me. And so it's like as soon as I'm doing Indian music, it's like, oh, there she is. She's Indian. She's making Indian music. So I've
Right.
deliberately tried to stay away from that. And then when I wrote the music from Sort of, it definitely gave me confidence. And the response to the songs in Sort of and seeing it on the show, it definitely gave me confidence to keep exploring in that direction.
That's
I do think
awesome.
that they're different in that, like, those are very much like dance tracks or whatever. Like, there's
Mm-hmm.
a dance beat and I'm singing, whereas New Models is sort of pushing, like, the production's a little bit different in terms of what's happening. But I will, for sure, I think the experience of writing for Sort of definitely like gave me confidence to just lean into who I was instead of like pushing against it to be like, what would it look like to actually just embrace this part of my identity?
So for New Models, then when you worked for the soundtrack, it kind of like gave you confidence to work more or with that kind of sound. So your other previous projects, they're not that related with each other.
No, I mean, like a lot of people have been calling this album experimental, and I think in some ways it makes sense because most of my albums, I mean, all of
It's
my
just
albums,
because it's different, I feel like, but like
yeah,
I
yeah.
feel
I
like they
mean,
throw the word experimental just because it's different, but it
Well,
exactly.
because they have to label
They have to
everything.
label it
yeah,
something,
like
Yeah.
just
but
listen to it. Like you don't have to
Yeah.
it's true.
call it
But
anything.
but I tend to make what would be more classified as pop, and this is definitely.
Hmm.
Oh
And I
yeah.
think there's pop
Yeah.
elements to this album, but it's the least pop, maybe the least accessible album I've ever made. So I will say there is some connective tissue. I haven't announced it yet, but I have a new album coming out next year.
Whoa.
And
You're here,
this
you're
is
here first.
this, yeah, you're getting exclusive. And I won't say too much about it, but when you hear it, it's like night and day. Like it's like both of,
Um,
Wow.
wouldn't even know that these projects were written. I actually was working on this one, like not New Models, the new one, and then New Models and like just sort of like pushed ahead in line and kind of became a thing. But
mhm.
it's very like yin and yang, where like New Models is
Awesome.
like very earnest and tender and vulnerable and introspective. And this one is like unhinged. Like
Can't wait.
it's also a side of me that I've never like explored
Hmm.
before. And it's just like, yeah, it's very extreme in a different way.
That
So
Yeah, I was gonna
so
say,
that's the best.
yeah, I was gonna say
I
too,
love when
like
artists
good,
do that.
yeah, I was gonna say that good artists actually every project should be experimental in my opinion.
yes, agreed.
Like if
Mhm.
if you're doing the same thing your
Boring.
whole career,
I'm
like
bored.
Boring.
exactly, like um I was gonna ask about, so I don't know if that's still going on. I haven't heard anything else anymore, but you had a movie coming out for your book.
The subtweet.
Yes.
Yeah, I wrote a script. So it was in Canada, it's called In Development,
Okay.
but it's not moving forward, unfortunately. So a lot of things in
Oh.
Mhm.
Canada get put in development and then it doesn't move forward. So I've had actually
Mm.
a couple things in development and a lot of them are
Mhm.
moving forward, unfortunately, but hopefully
Maybe
some
in the future,
maybe, who
maybe.
knows? Who
Okay,
knows?
because I listened to the audiobook. I was really excited, especially because the ending, it felt I wanted more. It
Oh,
felt
okay, great.
like, but I was excited, but it's okay. I'll cross my fingers, even my
Thank
broken
you so
finger,
much.
that it's gonna happen hopefully in the future. For this podcast, all of the title of the episodes are a Tig and Sarah song.
Right.
So do you want to choose a Tig and Sarah song for this that you think it's appropriate, or do you want to choose one of your songs? And then usually we also analyze a Tig and Sarah song, but we could do one of your songs. Like,
Well, why don't I say I was married? Has any been called I was married?
no,
Okay.
You haven't done an I Was Married yet?
no,
Do you not
Oh.
like I was married?
no, I do. We
Okay.
do. We
What?
love it.
I'm gonna pick
What?
I was
I just
married.
don't have a episode called I Was Married yet.
I
Yeah.
pick I was married because when I was working on New Models, I got really curious about other artists who have pushed against, or pop artists who have pushed against
Mm.
pop format to write songs. And I
Mhm.
remember hearing I Was Married for the first time and being like, this song is fucking whack, like in the best way. Like
Yeah, it's so weird in the
so
best way.
strange in like the
Mhm.
composition is so unusual. And I mean, Sarah has
Yes.
such a knack for these songs that like are left of center and yet become like major hits. But
Yeah.
that song in particular, and I actually messaged Sarah being like, can you walk me through how you wrote I Was Married? Because like the structure is so, it's not a typical pop structure. And she's like, I don't even remember how I wrote it. So I didn't get any like helpful advice there. But yeah,
Thanks
like
for
that
nothing,
song,
Sarah.
no, love you. But I definitely, that was one song that I like sort of held in the back of my mind. I mean, obviously nothing on New Models is like that song, but it was definitely for me when I was thinking about atypical like formats, that's
Mhm.
Experimental.
Yeah,
experimental.
experimental, the unique structure.
I also like, I think, there's a lot of, like Boyfriend gets like listed a lot as like their sort of queer anthem. But for me, I think like I Was Married is like
They
some
they
ways, like
have so many other songs before Boyfriend. It's just
they
people tend
do,
to
but I
like.
think I Was Married gets ignored. And like
Oh
as
yeah.
Mhm.
to me,
Yeah.
there's something about like that line, like I don't get what they see, like trying to control. I don't even have the lyrics on me, but like the concept of like not understanding the hatred in other people's eyes and like
The
wanting
monster that you
Yeah.
like, she doesn't
I
see a
don't see
monster
what
in the
they
mirror.
see.
Yeah.
I don't see what they see. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So like to me, I'm like, this is a fucking queer anthem.
Yeah.
It's
When you put
so
this
it's
on
so
the Pride list,
beautiful.
it is, and it's so beautiful. It's such a
It's
beautiful.
like seemingly simple, but it's so complex and beautiful. I
And what a
totally agree.
And what a exciting and unconventional album opener, like to open
Mhm.
that song.
I was gonna
That
say, and
song,
it's an opener too.
that
Yeah.
song, like a
You're
record
speaking
label,
my language.
that song should have
I
been
love an
interlude.
odd opener to a song.
Yeah.
To an
that's
album, I
what-
mean. Yeah.
I'm surprised because that song like reads interlude. Like it doesn't read as
It
opener.
reads like a transitional.
Track nine,
Yeah.
track 7.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about it, right? Is like it's
Yeah.
like how bold to just start the album with this song that's in some ways like more overtly like political than any of the other songs on the album. Anyway, so I love that song.
Yeah,
so
I have a doc on my drive with only Sarah songs in categories, and I have a political category because she has like a bunch of songs that I will like categorize as political, and I was married as there, like 100%.
There you go.
For sure.
There you go.
Yeah.
I love it. I got so excited listening to you talk about I Was Married.
Yeah.
I just like, got to the edge of my
I mean,
seat.
this
great.
podcast, like all we do is
I'm a
rave.
fan. I'm like an unabashed fan. Like I'm obsessed with
How
Tegan
can you
and Sarah.
not, right?
Like,
Same.
yeah,
Yeah.
I love their music. So when I saw the
Yeah.
questions, I'm like, easy.
Yeah. Okay. Now I just have a few more. I have a list of other questions that just so we can like chat and get to know each other. But I do want to know what made you interested in coming on the podcast, because this podcast is very casual. Like we have very little. It's very niche. We have very little listeners. It's just me, my friend. Just like we usually do book clubs, so it's like mostly right now it's mostly book clubs that we usually connect to Tegan and Sarah somehow, like because it's our favorite band, so we talk about it a lot. So what made you interested in like coming on the podcast?
You.
Really?
Because Debbie's the
Aw.
best.
Well, no,
Aw,
I mean,
thank you.
honestly, like, a lot of my career, people did not care about my music. People weren't interested in anything I did. And so I never take for granted when someone cares. And you've been such a huge like support of my music, and you've come to shows and you've stolen
course.
posters, and
Yeah. I have both of them. I can show you, but they're like in my closet.
and it really, again, as someone who my career's been such a slow build. It's been very slow, and it's not always had people who have liked what I've done. And so anytime I have someone who's like even, interested in any way, I feel so much gratitude.
Oh my God. I'm so glad to hear that.
A small way of me saying thank you so much.
Aw, thank you.
Interest.
That's awesome. I'm gonna tell Maryam that. She's gonna like flip out.
Aw.
I'm so sad she's not here, but she was in the hospital today. It's been a thing.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, I know.
Get well, Maryam.
Yeah, no, like everyone, please send good vibes. I have Jess. Jess, do you want to have any of your questions? I had some of yours here. Do you have anyone in
Yes.
particular?
I don't have it in front of me because I sent it to you and I didn't know I was going to be here
Surprise.
until early. Yeah, it's a very pleasant surprise. It's lovely. But it kind of, you touched on it before. Part of one of my questions is how do you pivot when a project doesn't work out or it doesn't fully come to fruition? And just how you have so many projects at simultaneously. Like, how do you go from, like you said, new models coming out, but you're working on the next album already? How do you balance those things?
I've really, when I was younger, I used to like go back and forth a lot. It was a little bit maniac energy. And
Mm-hmm.
now I find when I'm in a project, I really need to be in the project. And so, um, I really find, but I think part of the artistic process or creative process, which I'm sure you know, is that sometimes you hit a roadblock and you're like, I can't get past this. And this is where I find it's useful to step back. And sometimes you
Mm-hmm.
step back and you need to take a break in general and just watch Real Housewives. And other times I find it
Absolutely.
useful to like dig into a different project. And so I
Mm-hmm.
find it helpful to have a couple projects on the go just because yeah, it just means that like, and not all of them move at the same time. Like New Models is a
Mm-hmm.
really good example. Like during the time that New Model was written, I had a one-person show, there was a TV show, there was a few books, like there's other things that happened. So New Models is just sort of growing slowly. And I
Mm-hmm.
think part of it's also giving projects time. I think when I was younger, there was like an urgency, like finish it, complete it, get it done. Whereas now I'm like, it doesn't know what it is yet. Like, give it
Mm-hmm.
more time. Let's see what happens. And I'm so glad because, after sort of actually, after those songs, like that was going to be the approach I took for New Models.
Mm-hmm.
The approach I took for sort of is like I just recorded these songs, I sent it to my producer, he made beats under it. And he was very much like, I don't think that's what New Models is, like you should take more time with it. And I'm so glad
Mm-hmm.
I did. And so I don't know if this is really answering your question, but again, I think space from a project really helps. I think sometimes I keep a spreadsheet where I'm like, what are the projects you're working on this year?
Mm-hmm.
Just to sort of mentally have an idea of like, what does the map
Mm-hmm.
of the year look like? Um, and I've gotten better at letting things go. I think when I was younger,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I found it very hard to let go of a project. I made a graphic novel a few years ago called Death Threat. And this year, one of my ideas was to turn it into a musical. And I was working on it, and it just wasn't coming together. And in the past, I would have had difficulty letting it go. Whereas
Mm-hmm.
now I'm like, it's okay. Like,
Yeah.
I need to put this aside because one of the things I've realized is like, you only get so much time on this planet. And
You have to make
sometimes
room for like the new
Mm-hmm.
things that are exciting too.
Yeah.
totally,
Yeah.
totally. And like sometimes making art, you do have to push, you do have to like hit your head against the wall, but sometimes you have to like whatever the thing that I'm realizing is the more I say yes to some things, it means that I'm inadvertently also saying no to other things.
Yeah, for
Mm-hmm.
sure.
Anytime I'm saying yes to a project that I don't want to do, I'm saying no to projects that I maybe do want to do more.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Cool.
that was a great answer.
Yeah. I'm
Like
gonna
it
ask,
sounds like you have a really healthy detachment
yeah.
now.
Yeah, I do think it's a better relationship to art making now.
Yeah,
Awesome.
amazing.
I do have one last question just because of your time, but Tegan and Sarah, they have a subscription Substack that you can subscribe to when they had like a Zoom with their fans and stuff. And I asked this question to Sarah, so I'm gonna ask you the same question.
Okay.
If there were a museum about your life, what would you want to be sold at the gift shop?
That is like one of the most original questions I've ever been asked
I
on
saw
this.
it on TikTok. I loved it. So I was like, I need to ask this to
Debbie,
everybody.
Debbie always has really original, thought-provoking questions.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I think this is cheating because I'm looking at this right now because I have like a secret show tonight, and so I have like my merch ready. And 2 years ago,
Secret show?
yeah, it's a secret show at Paradise Theater. If I don't know if
Whoa.
it's called Basement Review, and they do these secret shows every December where they don't
Cool.
say who the guests are, and they've had like I think like Feist and like random like people show up. So,
Oh,
anyways, so you've already
cool.
you're another exclusive. But a few years ago, one of my designer pitched this idea of Vivek wrapping paper,
Oh
like
yeah.
Christmas holiday
Mm,
wrapping
Yeah.
paper, and to me, it's like one of my favorite pieces of merch that
Yeah.
like ever
For
done.
sure.
And I think it would be perfect in a gift store.
Mhm.
It's like Vivek wrapping paper. So yeah.
Awesome. Do you have any hot takes?
Amazing.
Any hot takes? Oh my God. On what?
Anything.
It's so open-ended.
AI
Whatever you
sucks.
want.
I don't know. Cats are, I don't know, dogs. You hate
AI
dogs. I don't know.
And
Don't
yeah.
hate dogs. Something
My-
controversial. I don't know.
Something controversial? Oh my God.
I know it's hard. It's like on the spot like
Unpopular
that.
opinion.
Oh yeah, an unpopular opinion maybe.
Unpopular opinion. I mean, this isn't an unpopular. Well, no. Okay. Let me think of something. An unpopular opinion.
No, honestly, I don't think I know something. So like I don't blame you for not having one right away.
Oh, I'm really over coffee supremacy. I
Hmm.
hate like, coffee drinkers. I'm
Mm.
not a coffee drinker. And it's like, I gotta have my coffee. I gotta have my coffee. And every block, there's a coffee place. You know what there isn't on every block? A smoothie place. We need to
Mm.
have
Mm,
more smoothie places. And the
good
thing is,
one.
smoothie, you can get coffee in your smoothie. 2 in 1.
True.
Can you get
Yeah.
your smoothie in a coffee? You cannot. So I would love to see coffee supremacy and more smoothie supremacy. Like
Do you have any
Wow.
addictions or vices? Like people are like they need their coffee. Do you have something that you need to
my
have every
smoothie.
day? A
My smoothie.
smoothie.
Yeah,
Okay,
I need
good
my
one.
smoothie. Like,
Meanwhile, I'm like drinking my coffee.
yeah.
Yeah,
Time is it? What time are you
right.
gonna go to bed?
She's in
Um, I'm in
Seattle.
I'm in Seattle.
Oh, okay. I was like,
Speaking of coffee.
that's all I
Um,
have to offer. I don't know. Is that okay?
yeah. Yeah, hot takes.
Also,
Smoothies
I
over
mean,
coffees.
this isn't a
Yeah.
hot take, but like I'm worried about the death of movie theaters at all
Oh,
times.
me
Oh, I don't think
too.
it's
I
gonna like
love
die
going to the movie
forever. It's just
theater.
gonna maybe be less, but I don't think they
Being
No.
will
go
get
see
rid of
movies,
it.
it depresses me so much thinking people watching Frankenstein at home. Like I'm like, this
I
is a
know.
Oh, yeah.
beautiful, beautiful film. It's made for theater. Like, don't see it.
Yeah, it's
Like,
Yeah.
go
true.
just take some time and go see it in a theater. Have a collective experience. More collective experiences in 2020.
Yes.
Maybe
Let
maybe they should market things saying like this is not going for streaming. You have to watch it from
Yeah.
the
exactly,
movies because it's meant
exactly.
to be watched in the
This
movies.
is
And
what
maybe
it's
they
meant to
release it like 5 years later, so it like people like go and watch instead of waiting. I don't
Yeah.
know. That's true. Huh.
I love movie theaters. A
Yeah.
lot of movies don't even stay in the theater that long
Yeah, I was
though,
just
either
telling my
now.
mom we should go to like watch the movies
Okay.
together.
Mhm.
If you haven't seen One
Fun.
Battle After Another, go see One Battle After Another. It's going to be back.
Okay.
Okay.
And
Okay.
yeah, highly recommend.
I'll try to remember that. One battle after another.
Yes.
Mhm.
Okay. Okay,
Okay. Well,
great.
thank you so much for
Thank you
having
so
me. This
much
was
for
so
making the
nice.
time to
I
talk
hope
to
this was
us,
okay.
like this
Yeah, it
really
was
niche
awesome.
podcast. Yeah, thank you so
Yeah.
much for coming. And do you want to say anything to people that are listening? Do you want to give your
Oh, okay. Well, I'm on tour in January. I'm going to Victoria, Edmonton, Calgary, Winnipeg, Saskatoon, and I'm playing the album. And there's some of those cities I haven't been to like in years. Like Saskatoon, I don't
awesome.
think I've been since the Love You to Death tour, actually, when we were
Cool.
Wow.
Tegan and
Go
Sarah.
see Vivek, everyone.
So
She's
come
amazing. You're gonna have
see
like
me. That
a
would be
great
so nice.
experience
Yeah.
just overall.
Thank you so much for your support. I really love this. And Maryam, shout out to you. I was
Mm-hmm.
Maryam.
I was Maryam. It's
I
amazing.
was
Hi, Maryam in
Miriam.
the sun.
Yeah.
Tell me.
You're amazing.
Yeah,
Thank you
thank
so much
you
for
so
having me.
much.
This is so nice. Okay, take care.
Bye.
Bye.
My
Sick.
gosh, look at your background.
I know, it's you.
So cool.
And I have the vinyl too.
I don't have any props here.
That's okay.
Oh, Tegan, come. No, I'm joking.
Can
Don't
you
do that.
imagine?
We should rename the episode I Was Maryam.